I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name's Kaylee, and these past couple weeks I've been seeing this trend on TikTok, especially like rock and metal TikTok, where someone will like pick a few of their favorite bands and then they play the band's most popular song and then the song that's their favorite from that band. I didn't want to make a TikTok, I thought this would be a pretty good YouTube video, so I picked five like pretty popular metal bands, so I'm gonna have 10 songs and just quickly go through them. I picked the most popular song strictly off of Spotify streams, so whatever is like their literal most streamed song on Spotify. And then favorite, of course, is just like a personal preference of mine. I was also thinking if this video does well or if people like it, I might do like a rap one because I still listen to a lot of rap. So let me know if you guys want to see that, but I'm just gonna get started. So, Changing the House of Flies by Deftones is probably the first Deftones song I'd send to someone who was like trying to get into them. Not only because it's their most popular, but it does pretty much everything that you would want like an early era Deftones song to do. It kind of is when they start like experimenting, especially on the album it's on, White Pony. It has like these really booming but still kind of a like reserved instrumental and then these great like airy vocals from Chino. I still love this song. I think it is the song that I was most excited to hear at their concert when I went. It was their encore. I thought it was amazing. And I think the song truly was kind of like a turning point for the band. It used to be my favorite, but it's not anymore. So my favorite Deftones song is Around the Fur, which is the title track off of their second album. I just think it has this great energy from the start. It's kind of similar to a lot of Deftones songs where it follows the formula of having this like very quiet kind of like withdrawn start and then just everything explodes in the chorus. I think this works very well for them, and I don't mind that they kind of follow this algorithm most of the time because I just love all of their songs. This isn't as experimental as or like out there as a lot of later Deftones song is, but I still think it's like a breathtaking alternative metal song that upon your first listen, you're kind of surprised at every turn and you don't really know what to expect. Takes a part of me, feeling like a freak on a leash. Okay, so Freak on a Leash by Korn. This was far from the first Korn song I ever heard. It was not my introduction to them at all, but I almost kind of wish it was, and I think I would have fallen in love with them a lot sooner if I knew they had songs like this, because the first few Korn songs I heard, I'm pretty sure were All in the Family, Adidas, and Y'all Want a Single. So very like aggressive, abrasive songs, and in my opinion, Freak on a Leash is definitely one of the more like relaxed songs up until like the very end. But I love Jonathan Davis's like unique vocal delivery, especially on this song. It really makes it like a very immersive experience. And this is another song, I think I can say this for a lot of new metal songs for the first time you hear them. You just don't really know what to expect or what you're listening to when you first hear it, especially with songs from Korn when they have this kind of like scatting part in them. I didn't really know what to make of it, but I just kept coming back to listen to it again. Everyone that I talk to that likes Korn definitely calls Make Me Bad one of their most underrated songs, and I definitely agree because I had been a casual listener of Korn for a while, but Make Me Bad was the song that made their discography kind of click with me after unsuccessfully trying to get into them for like months. It just really like struck a chord with me. The lyrics, even though I don't know exactly what they're about, kind of remind me of my own struggles with mental illness. I love the instrumental just because it sounds so kind of haunting and dark, which matches the tone of Jonathan Davis's voice and lyrics perfectly. I just want to say, I think Korn does a great job with their guitar parts. If I'm not mistaken, they use like down-tuned 7-string guitars, which kind of became a standard for nu metal at the time, but I think they were one of the first people to do that and kind of like create this very like chunky sound with it. But due to songs like Make Me Bad, Beg For Me, and Let's Get This Party Started, along with Falling Away From Me, which was the big single off of Issues, make Issues easily Korn's most consistent album for me, in my opinion, because I think when I'm listening to their full albums, it's always kind of like a mixed bag for me, but I really, really enjoy all of Issues. I know the pieces fit 'cause I watched them fall away. The next band I'm going to be talking about is Tool, and their most popular song on Spotify is Schism. I honestly find Tool's more like radio-friendly, accessible songs to be my least favorite in most cases. I don't hate Schism by any means, but I would almost prefer literally any other song on Lateralis before I put this one on. For a long time, I will admit this, I thought Tool was really pretentious and just tried way too hard for like no reason. Recently, though, I realized I was wrong, and they've become one of my favorite bands. But I still kind of feel this way about Schism. I always really like the Tool songs where they're not kind of taking themselves too seriously, but Schism just feels a little bit pretentious still.
Crying open my third eye! Crying open my third eye!
My favorite Tool song, though, is Third Eye. I think this is a perfect song. I was in shock when I heard it for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago, long before I even liked Tool or gave them the time of day. The sample of, I'm pretty sure it's Bill Hicks at the beginning, catches your attention and really pulls you in, and the guitar is doing things that I didn't even know a guitar could do, until I watched a live version of the song and I saw Adam Jones playing it, and my mind was just blown. Drums are on point as usual, and Maynard is absolutely killing the vocals. The song goes through many different phases and switches between kind of these like distant, withdrawn vocals to these like super shrill, powerful screams. 14 minutes has honestly never felt so short. I know that seems kind of weird to say, but this song never drags on for too long. I never feel like it could be made shorter with like one less chorus or solo, and I never check to see how much longer the song has. And whenever Third Eye is on, I really just have to give it my undivided attention. Black Number One by Typo Negative is another very long song that has a lot of different, like, connected parts. It's essentially a satire song about goth women that kind of makes fun of everything they do, down to the hair dye they use, like, hence the name. But this was one of my most played songs for 2 years in a row for a lot of different reasons. It has this very like simple yet effective bass line that is great at grabbing your attention. It continues throughout the entire song. I love the lyrics, kind of ironically or not, depending on the day and depending on how I'm feeling. But it also has this very minimalistic piano and drum parts that are kind of a constant throughout the song until everything comes together and gets much heavier during the choruses and the second half of the song. This was the only Typo Negative song I listened to for a long time, but now there are others that I like much more. So Love You to Death is another song that I think is perfect. I love how it's kind of like soft and sensual down to this very delicate piano part, and it has like these super passionate vocals with lyrics about like prioritizing your partner's needs over your own. I also love how you can kind of interpret the song in two different ways, one being romantic and the other being sort of obsessive. I think that there are a lot of great moments in this track. It has a lot of like doomy influences that I think shine through perfectly, as well as like the typical elements of gothic rock and metal that you usually hear in Typo's music. And as the song fades out, you can just hear Peter keep asking, "Am I good enough for you?" which I think is the best ending to the song just because it's so vulnerable. So Enter Sandman by Metallica was one of the first songs I ever heard by them, like many years ago, and it still holds up to me. I think the main riff is this just huge driving force behind all the other elements of the song, and it kind of like carries the song wherever it needs to go. I know that a lot of people think that Metallica sold out with the Black Album, but some of my favorite songs by them come off of this record, and in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with like changing up your sound or trying to get a wider fan base. My dad thinks of this as like Metallica's Nevermind, like Nirvana, and I think it's just like a great analogy because I don't think they did anything wrong. I don't think their music had like a drop in quality or anything. I just think they were changing up their sound a little bit, and that's fine.
I'm the one who waits for you, or are you unforgiven too?
So my favorite Metallica song, it might be like a weird pick, it is the Unforgiven 2. I heard the first Unforgiven when I was listening to the Black Album, and one of my friends recommended me to check out Death Magnetic, so I heard the Unforgiven 3, but all of that kind of fell into place for me when I heard the second one. It has this really kind of like clean, polished sound to the vocals and the guitar, which I can kind of see why some people don't like it, but I think it works super well with the vibe of the song. It kind of makes it a little bit more vulnerable to me. I also lyrically relate to the song more than the other two parts. And I'm a pretty casual Metallica fan, so I could be totally wrong to have this be my favorite song. And I'm sure there are any number of songs that I haven't even heard yet that are better than this, but something is just so appealing to me about The Unforgiven too. And I love the solo as well. So those are 5 bands with their most popular song and then my favorite song. If you listen to any of these bands, please feel free to comment your favorite songs by them. And let me know if you want to see the same kind of video for any other genre or certain bands, and I will be sure to make it. And as always, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe and comment what you want me to make next. And I'll see you guys in the next one.